All right, good evening, everybody. This class is being recorded. Hi, Lydia. Hello, Shay. Good evening, Kingsley, or Victor, rather. Good evening, Ibrahim. Hello, Itunu. I believe we're all doing great. And you're all welcome to class. From the class we had last week, we have discussed intensively about then we talked about the lambda function. We looked at the basic syntax of the lambda function. We also touched on combining the map, and we also went into introduction of NumPy and pandas. I think the last class was where we were discussing NumPy, right? I think we dealt intensively with NumPy, and we also got to the point of discussing pandas. Am I correct? Please, if I'm missing out anything, let me know. We discussed pandas, right? In our last class. Is that correct? Please, those of us that joined the class, let me kindly um kindly remind me of where we stopped. Yeah, Ibrahim, let me hear you. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
This call is now being recorded.
I'll be, I'll be a little bit like passive, but I just wanted to respond to what you are asking. You only introduced NumPy to us, and we looked at some of the functions in NumPy. And you briefly talked about pandas, but we didn't do much in pandas, except I think you were trying to do something on Thursday evening in pandas with us, but we didn't do much. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. So let's continue with pandas then. I'll share my screen now, and then we'll pick up from pandas. Okay, so let's talk about pandas, right? And already we have spoken about this in the classroom, and I did mention that pandas is a Python package that allows us to get in data sets and represent it as a data frame. Yeah, we spoke about that in the last class. And what else did we talk about? Yeah, sorry, not in the last class. I did all of this explanation in the classroom. For those of you that have seen the video, I took my time to explain the data frame structure of pandas. So I believe that I did justice to that part of the explanation. Let's just go ahead and talk about how to use pandas. Yes, to get started with pandas, all you need to do is first of all you have to import pandas as PD. Okay, very important. Just like how we import NumPy as NP, before you begin using pandas in Python as a package, you must import it as PD. Like you must import it not necessarily as PD, you can import it as any alias, but the bottom line is that you have to import pandas. All right, so and this line of code import, this is how to import pandas. Just call the import statement import pandas. Then you can import it as any alias of your choice. But remember, I said that the standard alias that is being used to import pandas is PD, okay, where P is the first letter of the word pandas and D is the fourth letter, right? Let's run this cell. Once we run this cell, nothing will happen, okay? But just know that once this cell is executed successfully, with that we have pandas imported. So with this number showing 1 is that pandas have successfully been imported as PD. The next thing we want to look at how to do is to create data frames. So data frame can be created using different methods. But the most important part of this data frame creation is this syntax in the third cell. This highlighted syntax where I called pd.dataframe, in the bracket I gave it data, which the list of the data points which I have already defined as list underscore df. So it means that when you're creating a pandas data frame, you must give a list as well as you should have an index, and finally you should also have columns. Am I communicating? Important things that should be given to a data frame when creating one. The data frame accepts data, it accepts index, it also accepts columns. Provided you are creating your data frame from lists or you are creating your data frames from maybe arrays, it follows this pattern. Yes, Lydia, your hand is up. Let me hear you.
Can you Adekunle Shumichi's mic?
All right, thank you. So that's done already. I hope there's no noise in my background because my fan is facing me directly and it's facing my computer directly because the computer is getting so hot. Is he creating or generating any noise?
No, it's okay.
Hello. Okay. All right. So I haven't seen this. I'll give. Well, before I go further, how many of you have been able to watch the video I made on introduction to pandas in the classroom? Okay, Lydia has, not Sheyi, not Ibrahim. Itunu, Adekunle, Victor. I've not seen, not Adekunle, not Itunu. Wow. So only Lydia has been able to watch has seen the video on this. Okay. All right. So yes, we have a list, right? We have a list of lists. So in this list of lists, there is we have some kind of heterogeneous data type, which means that I have a number, an integer, I have a string, and I have another integer. Then we have another integer, a string, and another integer, and so on and so forth. But the index is just names of some footballers: Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and Neymar. And then the column, I want to use these three parameters or these three entities as the columns: the age, the nationality, and overall. Now, once I run this cell, it has registered list underscore df in memory. I run this second cell to create the names of the players and to create the column names. And then once I run this cell, the pandas data frame will be created. Can you see how Python has been able to take all of these lists into a data frame structure and produces a table-like output with columns and rows. So the title of the rows or the first entry in each row is what we refer to as the index, while the other records we form the data set. So the reason why this is collected into a list of lists in this order is because we want to gather information about the player's age, their nationality, and the overall. So most times, as a data analyst, when you get data into a Jupyter Notebook using your Pandas data frame, it always comes like this. It will be presented this way. So this is how to create a data frame from lists or list of lists. Now, I also created data frame from dictionary. The same information was entered into dictionary. Now, the only difference between the dictionary and the list of lists is the ability to put the columns and the data in one dictionary. See how that was achieved. I have the age, and I collected all the ages of the players in one list as the value. So the key is the age. The value is the ages in a list. I have another key called nationality, and then I collected all the countries where these players are. The countries of the players are put in one list. And I have another key called overall, and we have the list of all the overalls, ranking of players in that list. So finally, I created an index, the list of the index, because I want the players to be the index of each of the entry. Then look at the syntax when I use the dictionary and this. I only need to call the data and index, and with that, when we run this cell, you see exact output as seen above. The same output, but two different ways of doing it. Okay. Now the same thing was done again, but this time around I created the it's in your hands. Let me hear your question.
First, okay, please can you come over the dictionary again? Like its difference from the list that we used earlier. And my second question is, well, maybe because I haven't gone through the video, but then let me still ask. Sounds somehow. Yeah, this table that we created now using the list, can we do that in NumPy, or it's only Panda that allows you also create tables like this? You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes, absolutely. So when I for NumPy is basically used. Of course, when you think of calculations, performing calculations, be any computations, be it mathematical, accounting, computing, anything that has to do with calculation, just think of Python package. What am I saying? Think of NumPy package. When you think of manipulating data sets, think of pandas. So pandas is originally meant to create data sets or to import data sets into Python or into Jupyter Notebook or any Python interpreter. Pandas, that is what it's meant for. NumPy is not meant for importing data sets. NumPy is meant for performing calculations. Because most times, if you want to take the sine of an angle, the cosine of an angle, when you perform any mathematical calculations, then you think about NumPy. Even though we have a math package also that does those calculations, but NumPy does the calculations together on an array. And you can also use NumPy to do calculations even in pandas. I don't know if that makes sense. So NumPy is not meant for importing data sets. Do you understand?
Yes, it does. Thank you. So my second
So
question.
for the dictionary, the difference is that for list, we had to create a list that are used for the columns, and we created a list of lists for the data, that makes up the table. See this data you have in the table, they were created in a list of lists. But when using dictionary, I prefer to use dictionary whenever I had to create a what data frame from scratch, and I want to generate data myself. I prefer to use dictionary. All right. Now, I do not necessarily need to have an index like we have in this case. I'll create a very simple data frame using dictionary again to still explain how to use dictionary to create it. Watch how that will be done. So I'm adding a new blank cell. I want to create a data frame that will collect students and their scores, or let's say subjects rather, subjects and scores of maybe some certain students. What I'll need to do is to first of all create a dictionary. So I'll call it um, dict underscore scores. Dict scores equal to, I'm creating a dictionary. The first subject I would like to impute is math. Now math has the following scores. Let's say for some students, right? Let's say I have 35, 87, 90, 78. How many? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them. All right. I put a comma. The next thing I want to do is to enter another subject, English. English. Okay. It will work with me. Just give me 5 random numbers, 2-digit numbers.
25,
25,
56,
6,
32,
32,
84,
84,
76.
76. Okay. Let me just use these two for now. So we've created, if I should run this cell, that has created a dictionary that has 2 subjects and 5 scores. Once we call the dictionary we just created dict underscore scores, you see it's a dictionary. Can you see it? It's a dictionary. That's the output. Now, for me to convert this dictionary to a pandas data frame, all I need to do is call pd.data frame. Please look at the spelling. The D has to be capitalized. The F has to be capitalized as well. Just put in my dict underscore scores and a data frame is created. Shikinan. Please, guys, you understand? Nobody's saying anything. Awesome. Now, okay. So, what's the confusion, Victor? No, I don't understand what you mean by the recap. You have to speak to me. Let me know what you mean by recap. Yeah, Lydia.
Okay. I was saying that I don't know Can you just go over this again, because I couldn't join last class, and so I'm just looking at the thing. It's a little bit confusing. Just go back over it again, maybe, so that I can
It will
understand.
be the truth is that it will be confusing. If I go back over it again, it will be confusing because there are some basics that you've not catch up with. If I should go over it again, it will still be confusing. But I need you to ask a specific question. Going over it again will not solve this problem. Yeah, it will be confusing again. I'm telling you the facts because this is a new language that we're learning. So you have to go through what the things you've missed so that you can catch up with what I'm saying now. If not, it should just be confusing. That's just the fact. That is the sincere truth. Yep. So ask a specific question. Maybe why is the math in quotes? Or why is that full calling? Or specific questions so that I know what to address. Because if I should go over again, it's the same thing that I said that I will still say again. And it should still be
For example, this PD is a short form for pandas or what?
yes. Like I said, if I should go over it again because I use the same thing, it will be confusing. So all of these things I explained already in the classroom. And we talked about it in last live session. I know that few classes you've had network issues. So I will encourage you to go through those materials in the classroom, go to the recordings we've already uploaded in the channel to catch up with what we are doing. Because if you are here, you keep on hearing some confusing stuff. And I think I mentioned about the PD while on this call. Maybe you weren't online or maybe you missed it. The PD is pandas. Is an alias for pandas. I said it's when you install pandas, you install it using an alias. And it mustn't be PD, it can be anything. But I've explained that in one of the videos in the classroom. Please watch it. It will help you a lot. Yeah, Lydia, your hand is up. Let me hear a question. Lydia, I can't hear you.
No, sorry, I just wanted to be sure about this data frame. So it's a function, right?
Data frame is a method, is a pandas method. When I click on PD, watch. When I click on PD, so how do I see all the list of method of any imported package or any function? How do I see all the method or attributes of that package or function in Python? Do you know the difference between method and attributes? I've mentioned it quite a number of times.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking anybody, not just you. But if you have the answer, I can answer. If you know it. Yes, I have mentioned it again and again and again and again. Again and again and again and again. In all the videos I shot, anything that makes me to use a method, I mention how to see other methods.
Okay, so you said when you type something a PD dot and you
it will show you the list of methods and some attributes. So I want to see the list of methods that are associated with pandas. PD. Once I type PD, I press dots and I press tab. Once you press the tab key, it shows you the list of methods that are associated with pandas. There is pd.annotations. If you want to know what that means, go ahead and check it out yourself. I've explained how to see that also. There is pd.api. There is pd.array, which means that pandas also have an array method and not just numpy. No, numpy has array method. And there is pd.arrays. There is pd.arrow dtype. We have dtype underscore range. So when you go to this list, you find data frame. Can you all see data frame as one of the lists of this pandas method? Can you give me thumbs up if you can see it? There is pd.concat. This is the same concatenation that you do in in Excel, in Google Sheets, in what's it called now? Power BI. The same concatenates. That same concat function. You can concat 2 or more data frames. So there are lots of different PD methods here. Can you see all of them? There are lots of different PD methods here that you will have to use at one point or the other as a data analyst. And if you want to use any, what I'm going to say now, I've said it before, I've said it severally, and I want to say it again. If you want to use any and you don't know how to use it, you've never used it before. Like in my own experience, my own case, I have not used all of these pandas methods before. I have not. So if I have any reason to use any, say I want to use PD dots from dummies, I don't know how to use it. I don't know if I don't know what its function is. Click on it. Once you select it, open a curve bracket. In the curve bracket, press Shift and press Tab. Once you do that, it will show you the signature. So this signature is just the doc string. As a programmer or a data scientist or a data analyst that does analytics with Python programming software, you will hear some of these terminologies again and again. Doc, D-O-C, string, S-T-R-I-G. Because even you as an analyst, there are times you have to write some functions to solve some of your problems. And because you are collaborating with somebody, you have to put docstring for that function so that if that person lays hand on that function that you have created, they easily understand what each line of the function does. They know, first of all, what the function does, and they see documentation of how to use the function. That is what this signature is all about. So this signature is telling me how to use this Python pandas method called from dummies. To see more, you click on the plus sign right here. When you click on the plus sign, more information will show. Then go ahead and read it. This is the inputs. So what this PD from dummies, what it accepts? One, it accepts a data frame. Can you see that? SEP, set, none, it accepts none or string. It can accept none as a keyword or string. By default, it is none. Default category. For default category, accepts none, hashable data structure, a dictionary, which can be a string or hashable, or it is none by default. So these are the 3 parameters that this particular method accepts. Now you can go further to read what it does. Now, can you see the doc string I'm talking about? It says this particular method, it creates a categorical data frame from a data frame of dummy variables. Inverts the operation performed by the function pandas.getDummies. So it means that when you create a Python, when you create a particular operation using getDummies, if you want to invert that process, you use from dummies to invert the process. So it goes on to explain the parameters. The data, this is data which contains dummy coded variables in form of integer columns of ones or zeros. The SEP, set, it is a separator used in the column names of the dummy categories. They are character indicating the separation of the categorical names from the prefixes. And you go on and on and on and on and on. Sometimes it even gives you example exactly. This one gave an example. So you can see here that it gives you an example. It says you can create a data frame called DF by using dictionary method to create data frame, which is what we've just seen now. So here's a dictionary of some keys A, B, C with some values, list of numbers, like dummy numbers. And when the data frame is created, it's created like this. Can you see how it's created? Now, if you want to convert it back to the data frame, you use from dummies df. It gives you the list of the letters A, B, C, and just make them back in this form. And then it goes on and on to give you further examples. And so Python is very, very easy to learn because the creator of Python, they've carefully documented everything they've done. You can learn any method and use any method. All you just need to do is just practice, keep practicing. So that's how to see the methods that are assigned to data frame or any other thing. So right now we've only used pd.dataframe. Does that make sense? So I have a question. Let me not about this from dummies. So here's my question, right? So we've created a data frame that has the scores, math and English of some students, some random students who we don't know who they are. Assuming this is the list of the students whose score is presented above. We have love, we have peace, we have long suffering, we have what's again?
Kindness.
Kindness. We have goodness. So there are 5 students, right? I use double quotes here. It wasn't intentional, but it works just fine. No problem with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 students. So how can I add this student's name? Or how can I use this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, replace the student's name with the 0 to 4, so that love will be this person with the scores 35 and 25. Peace will be the person that has the score 87 and 56. Long suffering, we have 90 and 32. Kindness will be the one with the score 78 and 84. And goodness, 35 and 76. How can I achieve that? By modifying this code. Deborah, you joined late today. Please answer the question. Okay, the outside that you are, is it noisy? Or is it a place you cannot speak? Should you please answer the question? Shey, are you in this class at all? Adegoke, please answer the question. Adegoke, I'm waiting for you.
Hello? Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Adegoke.
Yes. Okay. So, I don't have an idea.
Okay, James, please answer the question. James. James, I'm waiting for you.
I'm seeing the mark. Please, what question did you ask?
The question. The one that I asked. Yes, that's the question.
Adi? I didn't hear the question you asked though.
Okay, Adekunle, please answer the question.
I didn't hear. I'm seeing the market too, but I can hear you. I didn't know the question you asked.
Try buy my phone for me. Buy meat. I only want meat for me. Buy meat.
I beg, no verse, oh, no verse, please.
It's you, please answer the question.
Okay. Let me first tell you, I don't know the answer, but let me share my thought process with you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm thinking maybe there are two ways to it. First, maybe the long method. I like long method. Just go back to the bit
Dictionary.
score and add students. Just like you did for maths, you added the list of scores, English scores, then add students and the list of names too.
Okay,
Or
let's try.
I'm thinking there is a
Let's try. No, let's try
Okay.
that first. This is how a programmer is thinking. Oh my God. Please, can I just appreciate you to me for that suggestion. First of all, let's just give her a round of applause. Give her a round of applause to those of you that are on the call. At least that makes sense. So let's first try that out first. So we're gonna have, what am I doing? I'm putting it inside the output. So I have a column called students, and then I'll add it here. So I've pasted it there, right? When I run this cell now, there's dictionary. Now here's the dictionary with added students column to it. When I run this again, now we have the students, but students is not yet the column index because I want it to be the index. So that method worked partially because with the method you just proposed, we're able to add the column to the table as students column. Fantastic. So, but it is half solved, right? There's something we can do to still make it become the index. Before I mention it, I can see Deborah's hand is up. Let me hear Deborah.
Yes. Okay.
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, it's quite better now because I was actually on the road before. I'm still on the road anyway. So I'm thinking that it will be pb.dataframe open bracket student close bracket dot index.
pd.dataframe open bracket students close brackets dot students dot index. Where will I put that code? Is it this line? Is it line 12?
So what did you say?
The code you just suggested now. Am I going to type it in line 12?
Yeah, maybe you can just add dot. Maybe you can put it in a new what's it called cell. Just like a thought process, just like what you do.
All right. Okay, I'll do that. What's the second suggestion?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe there is a method in Panda that allows us to append the variable students to
This
this.
is a programmer. Please, can you just give it another round of applause? This is she's a programmer. She has programming sense. That's what I'm talking about. Well done to you. So there's actually a method that we can use to reset index. Oh my God. So there's actually a method we can use to reset index, right? With this pandas data frame, since we have students column in the pandas data frame, I can say dot reset index. Can you see it? Reset index. When I pressed .re, I just pressed my tab and it gave me all the list of methods that starts with re. So I have reindex underscore like, rename axis, reorder levels, replace, resample, reset index. This is what I want to do. I want to reset index with what? So if you want to know how to use the reset index, press shift and tab. Now, when you with shift tab, you see the okay. This is not even giving me any doc string. So reset index. I want to reset index with the name. Let me see if I add the name students. If this will understand what I want to do. Oh, unfortunately, it doesn't understand it. It doesn't understand it, unfortunately. Okay, I see. So one of the methods I would love to use. If you look at, let us go to the last error. It says it's a key error. Lydia, I'll come to you. Requested level students does not match index name, none. So the reason why he's saying this is because this reset you want to do is if we had students as the index initially. When I say reset index, it will take the students out from the index and make it a column. Okay, Lydia, let me hear you.
Okay, so I wanted to be sure because, like the example you gave, where in that video, I know you said index equals to this. So I want to be sure, is it that index is a function, or because me, I'm thinking if you had called my name, I would have said, I would have given you this thing like you saying Dick underscore this equals to Dick, then student equals to student, just like what you did in the
Okay,
classroom.
no. Index there is an attribute.
Yeah.
Index
Okay.
in that function is an attribute. So you can say index equal to student name. Who is Kaka Connect?
Okay.
I beg you, who is Kaka Connect that's trying to join this class? I beg you, I don't know Kaka Connect. I'm not this person. I know fish out before they come and take over my class, like how they took over somebody's meeting. There was someone that hosted the live meeting, and I don't know how come she shared her Google Meet link in the general public. Before you know it, Ibrahim, I'll come to you. Before you know it, all this, which country those guys are looking for? They're looking like people from India. They took over her meeting. Pornography everywhere.
My
Every
goodness.
Jesus. She could not even control it. She could not lock people. Who is this Kaka Connect that is trying to connect to my meeting? I beg you. I will not accept
Would
this
you
person.
speak that the
Ibrahim,
student?
That's
Sorry.
Musa. It's Musa.
yeah, catch me, yo. I don't be shout. Before somebody come and take over my meeting. Let me just trade the caution. Let me see. Okay. Let me just allow him. I think I've seen the message in the chat. He's trying to join. Kaka Connect. Musa.
I'm so sorry. There were 2 emails logged into my phone. I was joining with the other one.
When I see Kaka Connect, I fear say, who is this Kaka Connect?
I'm the one who I say, who is denying me entry? And I check it. I said, sorry.
Well, all right. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Index is actually an attribute. So this is what we can do. Since we have already defined the student's name as, student list as student, with what we have done, I can actually not reset. I think I can set student's index as student. No. So, not reset, it's set index. What am I doing? Set index. I think there's a set index. Let me see. There's a set index method. Yes, set index. So if I say set index students, that is it. So it's with a method of adding the students as a data frame, as a column. So I've added it. I then use the set index method to set the students column as the index. So let's give it another round of applause. That is one way to do it. And let's not do it using Lydia's method again. So Lydia's method said we should use the index attributes of data frame to assign students as the index. I would do what? What will I do? So I'll take this. Okay, and let me just copy it. Let me copy this data frame. I'll copy and make a copy of it. So paste. So I would take this student's record out from here. Let me take it out. I'm taking it out. so that I'll call this one dict scores 2. Okay, so we have the dict scores already, and we also have the students in a list. So by Lydia's method, what we'll do is we just say pd.dataframe, pd.dataframe in a curve bracket. I'll call my dict underscore dict score 2. I'll call dict scores 2, comma. Then I put the index attribute, index equal to. So what list do you want to use as your index? I want to use the students list that I've created above, this student list. I've assigned students. I'll put it there. Now with this, we also have the same output. Can you see it? So 2 different methods. We have used this method. We've also used Lydia's method. Does that make sense, guys? All right. Great. So I believe with this explanation I've given, we now understand how to create a data frame. So most times it doesn't have to necessarily be all of this, just understand the basics, understand what it means to create a data frame. That was the reason why I just went ahead, created a dictionary, and then created a data frame from the dictionary, and we've seen how that played out. Okay, so you can also have dictionary of so many items like this list of things, and then you can go ahead and put it in the data frame, then choose whatever you want to use as your index. But sometimes we can, so the reason why I would want to use student's name as index, so that I can call the student's name and I see the scores of the students, right? For instance, I want to see lost score in math and English. How can I visualize that, or how can I get that output out? I have to do that. Yeah, Lydia, your hand is up. Do you have a question for me?
Yes, with this last method, this method I suggested, I think there's a way we could actually indicate and the name will show up, right? Like the student will show up the way Itunu's own carry student, or it won't work out. Like there's you can add comma and then student, right?
No, that is when we want to now give a title to our index title. You can give an index title. Yes, why Itunu is having students in our own case is because we already gave it a column title students. But in this case, we didn't give it a column title. So you can now go ahead and give it, maybe add an index title or something. Let me see. Index, let me see, there's something like index title. Okay, no index title. Let me see, guys. Index, yes, okay, hand is up. Let me hear you.
Sorry, by this Itunu's method, what would you have done to make it arranged?
Arranged in what order, in what way, or what do you mean by arranged?
Like to show up in this Lydia's method, because according to Itunu's own, it actually just assigned them irregularly.
No, it's the same thing now. Look at Itunu's method. It's the same thing. Look at the output. And this is Itunu's output here. This is Lydia's output. It's the same thing.
So we can just use Itunu's own from that line of code instead.
Which line of code?
Hello?
Which line of code?
So this pd.dataframe dictionary scores. This one.
Yes.
This also gave this output, right?
Yes. That is because we've added this list as a key and value in the dictionary.
Okay.
So I was saying, what if we want to begin to get items from the data frame? You know that if I want to get, let's first of all assign a name to the data frame. Let's call it student's record. Student underscore record. So student's record equal to the data frame, so that we have an output of the student's record. When I call student's record, it gives me the output still. So if I want to get a column from student's record, all I need to do is use my square bracket and I call math. So once I call math, I make sure I spell the same way it's spelled in the data frame. It gives me the math record. Can we all see that? It gives me the math scores of each of the students. When I call English, it gives me the English scores of each of the students. And if I don't want to call it within a square bracket, I can also say students underscore record dot math without putting it in single or double quotes. It still gives me the outputs, the records on the student scores for math. And if I do that for English, it also gives me the record of the students for English. All right, so these are two different ways of accessing columns in a data frame. Either you access it by using a square bracket and put the name of the column in single or double quotes, or you access it by using a dot, the name of the column. Now, well, what if I want to access the records by the rows? So in this case, I'll have to use index lock, love. So, okay, cannot index by location, index with non-integer. Oh, let me say lock. Aha, okay, I'll use lock. So the only time it uses index lock, so index lock is like index location. Please, do you understand the error I just saw just now? Good. So whenever you see an error, please read it and try to understand why the error. So that is where I learned how to code. I don't run from errors. But look at the first thing I tried to do. I said iLock. So iLock means index location. So I say give me the index location of love. But Python tells me that I have a type error. And what's the type error? It's saying that I cannot index by location, index with non-integer key. do you understand that's an error? So immediately I saw the error, I quickly gave myself a break to say, okay, I'm doing the wrong thing actually. I was supposed to use lock, just location, because my index is not integers as usual. So as mean the index is integer 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then I can use iLock of 0, gives me the record for 0. But because my index in this case are the names of my students, use lock. So when you use lock of the name of the students or lock of the integer, then it returns the record. So it tells you that, okay, love has 35 in math and 25 in English. And it said the name is what? Love. Guys, do we now understand how to access records from data frame? So that error we saw the other time is this. So it means that if I want to see the record for love without using the name love, I can say iLock of 0 outside the quote. iLock of 0, see, it still gives me the same output. I can say iLock of 3. It gives me the record for kindness, because kindness is at index location 3. The index starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. I can say iLock of 4. It gives me the output for 4, for goodness. So if you want to use iLock, use the index number. If you want to use the name of the index, in the case where the index is not a name, then use lock to get those items. We can only get the range of value. I can say give me the iLock of 2 to 4. Can you see? When I get 2 to 4, it gives me a subset of the data frame, that of long suffering and goodness. Why? Because 0, 1, 2, long suffering is on location 2, 3, 4. Don't forget that it's always the index of n-1. So it doesn't include the index of 4, but it gives the index of 2 and 3. Does that make sense, guys? Yes, and if you let me hear your question, you are giving me thumbs down.
Yeah, I wanted to explain that because I was expecting it to still read at 3576. So you explain something.
It will read 3576. If you have watched the recordings I've done for NumPy and some of them for pandas, I did explain this range where I did range in Python. Python always pick the beginning and one less than the end. So if you're doing range from or looking from 2 to 4, it gives you 2 and 3. It doesn't include 4. So if you want to capture that of goodness, you have to use iLock of 2 to 5. Then to capture long suffering, kindness, and goodness. So it's always n minus 1 from I to n minus 1. Does that make sense? All right, so that's with what we've done. I think we've done a lot of, okay, yes, let's do some slicing. So what if I am interested in seeing the records, right? The scores of students, or the students who score below 50. Only the names of students who score below 50. So if I say, give me all the records, right? Give me all the records where this of math, let me just use the column for math, is less than 50. Look at the output. It says true, false, false. Can you see that? False, true. So why is it giving us this output? It's saying that love scored less than 50, true. Peace scored above 50, false. Long suffering is false because her score is above 50. Kindness is false because her score is above 50. But goodness is 35 because it is true because it's below 50. What if I do not want to see all of this true, false, 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 true? I want to see the actual names of people who scored that below 50 score and their score. How can I achieve that? To do that, what you need to do is to put this particular condition that gave you the true and false record, put it in a square bracket like this, and call the name of the data frame again outside the square bracket. When you run this cell, it gives you just the names of students who scored below 50 in mathematics, including English. It gives you all the scores, not just that of math, it gives you the entire record. So I've gotten a subset of the students table by giving a condition based on just the math column. This is one way to filter your data frame. Does this make sense? So what if I want to see only those who scored less than 50 in math and less than 50 in English? Can anybody try and tell us how to achieve that? I promised the person one candy. Let me get the candy for the person so that this time around, you know I'm serious about it. Excuse me. So, I have my candies here. Who will answer that question? I'll give the person this. Did you hear my question for this? Yes. Who wants to answer my question for this gift? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody?
Wait, let us think of it very well.
Lydia, try now.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
The question is, right now, I gave a condition for those students who scored below 50. Yeah? And it gave me a slice of the data frame showing me students who scored below 50, only in mathematics, right? So the question is, what if I'm interested in seeing those students who scored below 50, both in maths and in English? I know the only person that falls in that category is love. So how can I add the condition to show those students who scored below 50, both in math and English? Show you sign this up. Let me actually.
Okay, so in my head, I'm thinking we're supposed to use. No, I just remember that we're supposed to use. I wanted us to use and I remember that works only for Boolean. So now we might have to use.
Don't you think that wait, Shay, look at this thing now. Have you forgotten that when we ran this code alone, it gave us Boolean entries.
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah, nice Boolean. Now we use and. So
how do we use and?
See, that was what was in my mind. I think he just said what is in my mind. So share it.
Something
We
I
use
never
and.
used correctly. So let's use and, but how to type it is the issue now. So we've already typed math less than 50.
Yes.
Let's try after it. Let's do and.
And
The symbol.
well, I don't do because if you understand this and, it's supposed to change the color like the C.
It should be the symbol.
Okay, what symbol? Okay, let me use small and. Let me use small and. I'm coming.
Use small and, yes.
And
English.
Yes. Less than 50 also, right?
Let's try it.
Okay, let's try this. Okay, error deal. It says,
oh yeah, the true value.
Please, can't we use the that and of like ampersand, something like that?
Ampersand. Okay, let's try that.
And this
give us an error. It says the true value of a series is ambiguous. Use a.empty, a.bool, a.item, a.any, or a.all.
Can't we use comma?
Yeah. Yeah.
In place of that and, can we just use comma and see?
Well, I don't do that too.
We don't play about your book.
See the error.
Maybe we should try. Maybe we should try using brackets.
Oh, beautiful!
Bracket
That solves it. That solves it. So this guy
at the end of 50.
This guy has to be in a bracket. This guy has to be in a bracket also. So that solves the problem. Can you see it? That solves the problem. It's just the bracket. All right, congratulations. Congratulations.
Sorry, please. Which bracket? Where did you put the bracket? The thing is confusing me.
Look at the bracket here now. The bracket is this one. The first condition should be in a curve bracket. The second condition should also be in a curve bracket. So why Python was giving us that error that is ambiguous is because Python was trying to read everything at once and it's following BODMAS. You want to deal with the and before dealing with the or. So he didn't even know how to do it. But when he puts it in brackets, Python will understand that, okay, I have gotten an answer here. True and true. So it's now using logic. What is true from your truth table? Those that did logic in secondary school or in university. Truth table. Truth and truth equals truth. Truth and false equals, so that is what Python is doing here. So Python tested everything and it uses logic to bring out the output. So the output is now only love. So if you use OR, let's try to use OR and see. OR is the pipeline, just straight line. So you can see now it brings out love. So OR is going to, remember the truth table for OR? So the truth table for OR gives you, you can say, it is either the left-hand side is true or the right-hand side is true. Now it's bringing out love because both the left-hand side and right-hand side is true. The truth table for OR says truth or false is truth. False or truth is truth. False or false is false. And which other one again? Yeah, I think I've covered all right. If you have truth, truth, false, false. Truth or false is truth. Truth or truth is truth. False or truth is truth. False or false is false. So it's only when false and when both statements are false, false. That is when it will be false for all. That is the reason why we have this line out, even though this one is false, but because this is truth, it gave us long suffering. Even though only this one is truth, even this is false, it still gave us goodness. Do you understand how to get a slice of data frame? Do you understand, guys? Give me thumbs up, please. So I'll be sending my chocolate to Shay, take. At least you deserve this one, Shay. Take a chocolate. Collect down. I am very hand this up. I am Musa, take your own for supporting Shay. I am very your question.
Okay, the question I want to ask that these logical operators, like we have and or like that in this Python. You can say that maybe 2 plus 2, and you use or, and you say 3 plus something, or you say 5 plus something, and I don't know if you get the question I'm trying to ask. So the and or operator, like it seems I don't really get that and or in Python. Yes.
So the and or operator in Python works exactly the way it works in logic. Yeah. In logic. Let me create a data frame. Yeah. Let me create a data frame that will perform the operations for us. So look at how I want to create the truth data frame now. So I'll call it what do you call it? Okay, statement A and statement B, right? Let's call it logic dict. Watch this. So logic dict will contain we have statement A, and statement A has the entry statement A has the entry true. The first one is true. Okay, I have to put it in a listen. The first is true, comma, true, comma, false, comma, false. And then I have statement B. Statement B is true, false, true, comma, false, comma, true, false. Okay, so with this being created, let's create logic df. Logic ds is going to be pd dot data frame of logic dict. So once I run that cell and I call it logic underscore df, you see logic df, right? So this is the truth table. This is how the truth table is created. Now I will now add the and the or, A and B, A or B. Python will perform the calculation for us. So watch the way I will add it. So as I'm doing this example, I'll be using you guys to teach you how to add columns in a data frame. So I want to add a new column in the data frame by performing calculation on the two existing columns. So to add a new column, I'll call it logic underscore df of A and B. Logic underscore df of A and B. That is what I want to use as a column name. So this is going to be equal to logic underscore df and logic underscore df of A and logic underscore df of B. Okay, let me see. Okay, sorry, I'm supposed to wrap that in a single or double quotes. I'm supposed to wrap the names in a single or double quotes. Okay, so that has been added. That's been added. Now, if I call the new logic df, you see, can you see that the and has been added now? And the calculation has been done. Has it been done? Yes, it has been done. Now look at it. Look at it. True, true. For the AND operator, it is when it is true, when A is true and B is true, then A and B is true. When A is true and B is false, A and B is false. When A is false and B is true, A and B is still false. When A is false and B is false, A and B is false. So it is only true when you use the AND condition or the AND logic word or logic operator, that's what it's called. It is only true when both statements are true. Now, let me add the next column for A or B. A or B. So A or B is going to be equal to logic df of A or the logic df of B. So I'm going to change this to or, my single pipe. Now, once I run this again, and let's display logic df again, you see that the new column has been added. Can you see? Now, it is for or, it is true when only one of them is true. When A is true, B is true, the or statement is true, the or operator is true. When A is true or B is false, the or is still true because one of them is true. When A is false and B is true, the or statement is true. and when A is false and B is false. So it is only false when both are false. It is only true when both are true for A statement. So this is the logic table, and that is how Python works. See, I've just demonstrated it practically here, and that is the same thing that we've done in querying this record. So in this case, because we're using OR, Python will check which points will this statement be seen as true or false. So it's going to get this statement out, whether it is true or false. It's going to get true, true, false, false. So since you're using the OR, it brings out the records where either of them is true. Where either of them is true. Since 35 is true that 35 is less than 50, that satisfies the condition of either of them, and it brings out love. Since 32 is less than 50, even though 90 is not less than 50, but provided 32 is less than 50, because I'm using the OR operator, it brings out long suffering. Because 35 is less than 50, it brings out goodness, because I'm using the OR operator and not the AND. So it's following this logic table that we have just created right now in the class. So I hope everybody understands this logic and how Python uses his OR and AND operator, logic operator, to query out records. Do you understand, guys? And do you now know how to add new columns? Because what I've done, I added 2 new columns to the initial data frame I created. This is how to add new columns. There is nothing more. Like, depending on whatever operation you want to do, you can go ahead and add your columns. Just anyhow, depending on what you want to achieve. Are there questions? And do you understand the explanation?
100.
All right, great. So yes, that is quite a lot of explanation there. And we've also seen how to create data frame from pandas, from array, NumPy array. So it's the same method. Just use your array. It's just the same thing as creating pandas. Creating lists, or what am I saying? Creating data frame from lists. Same method, and you can create it. So MP. Okay, I've not imported MP. Where's the line of code that imports MP? Okay, let's just go ahead and import it here. So it's giving me this error. It says name error. Name MP is not defined. So you have to import MP as MP. Import NumPy as MP. So when I run this code and then I run this code, now you can see the output. Okay. All right. So we are now here. This is where I really wanted us to get to. This is what you'll be doing more as a data analyst. Is this part of creating data frames from other files you find yourself doing multiple times. Not even all of these things I've done, but these ones we have done so far is also very good for you to know them. Okay, it's very good for you to know them, but in practice, you may not have a need to do this, especially if you are not going to data science. But if you want to venture into data science, you must have all the skills, all those things. You must know them. Like you must, before you can, if you want to succeed as a data scientist, you must know all of those parts of creating data frames we talked about, from list, from dictionary, from array, and the rest. So creating data frame from, yes, and if your hand is up, let me hear you.
I just want to tell you that I should please just share this football player CSV file with us.
It's in the classroom. Please check the classroom. You see it there. Did you hear me?
I'll check that out.
All right. Now, please note, Lydia asked one very important question today, and I answered her, but I've also answered that question in videos. If you are uploading any data sets, yeah, you must have the same data sets, this data set in the same location where your file, your notebook is saved. I'll show you guys something right now. Now, this is the location where my notebook is saved. Watch the name of the notebook, Introduction to NumPy and Pandas Notebook. When you come to this place, you scroll down, you find the data sets. I have 3 data sets. I have the tips data sets. I've used this one in the video. You see it when you watch it. I have football players data set. I have FIFA _players. So these data sets you see all here, CSV. I use these data sets in one or more of these notebooks. So for it to work, they all have to be in the same location. I mean, for it to work by just calling the name of the data set. You see, football underscore players.csv. That is exactly how the data set was saved. But if it's not in this same location, you need to copy the directory of the data set, the exact directory of the data set, before you can import it into Jupyter Notebook. If you understand what I just said, please give me a thumbs up. Let me eat Shei's chocolate on his behalf. Shei, let me just help you. Because I know you're not a married man, you're a grown-up man. Before you start getting it.
You will pay back. You will pay back, I assure you.
His voice is actually kind of thing, not married men like you.
Chibi, you are single. Okay.
Ayofe, let me hear your hand is up.
Yes, I'm trying to check the classroom. I'm not seeing that data.
You need that issue. Zero. Go underscore players. It's in the classroom. Let me check. Have you seen where introduction to NumPy data frame is discussed?
It's there.
Module 4. Module 4. It's there now. Sorry, module 3.
Last week.
Module 3 of week 3.
Last week. Okay. Fine.
Course 4 week 3, module 3. So, please, I hope you guys understand what I said about that stuff. You must put data sets in the same location where the data frame is. I mean, where the data is. But if it's not in the same location, then you have to do something else. So I'll show you practically what you will see, so that in case when you start doing your own practice and you see such, you won't be scared to say what happened or you're entering the code wrongly. I will show you. I'll demonstrate it right now practically. So I'm going into the record. I'm going to the place where the data set is right now. Although you cannot see my screen, let me just share my entire screen so that everybody is carried along. Okay, I'll share my entire screen now. Okay, let's go to my folder. So this is the folder where everything is stored. Here's the data set, football underscore players. I'll cut it out from here, Control X, and dump it on my desktop. So it's now on my desktop. So watch what happens. Let's get back to the Jupyter Notebook. So now I want to call this data set. I want to run this cell. When I run this cell, can you see that as return error? Let's go to the last message to see what error is showing me. It says file not found error. Error number 2. No such file or directory, football underscore players.csv. If you understand what just happened now, give me a thumbs up. Jesus. So am I the only one in this class? Okay. So I'll return the data set back. Yes, it's new. Your hand is up. Let me hear you.
Success. Yeah, I understand everything, but I'm just wondering, Python or is it Jupyter Notebook now does not allow us to
does not allow you to do what? Success.
So
it means it doesn't allow you to do what? I can't hear it, Please, you can hear it from their end. Can anybody hear, or is it my network?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I am fair. Please, what do you say? I can't hear it any longer. I don't know if it's.
Yes. I said I can't see. I'm sorry for the background noise, please. I can't see the football fight.
Please, someone should help IFS. Success.
I can share my screen.
And your face is in week 3. Down.
Yeah, you say what?
Week 3 is the last thing down. Just scroll down. After all those videos, scroll down. NumPy and pandas.
It's new. Can you try to ask a question again? It's new. Don't verse. Let's continue. So I want to return the data set back to the location. I did not ask a question. Let me hear you.
What did I do? Okay, yeah, that time I was speaking and I didn't hear anything. I understand this, but I'm just kind of thinking, and Jupyter Notebook is not designed to allow us identify its directory we want to call our data from. Must it be the directory we started with from the beginning?
No, it can also allow you. So I want to show you on that method now. So let's say now my data set is on my desktop. If I want to access it from that place without changing the location of my data set, this is what I'm going to do. I'll open my file explorer. I'll go to desktop, right? So right here in desktop, I can find my data set here. So what I'm going to do is I'll right click on my data set, and can I copy this in here? I want to see if I can do that from here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will right click from this place. You see this desktop? Right click here and click on copy address. Can you all see that? If you can see it, give me thumbs up. If you can see what I'm showing you now, give me thumbs up, please. Good. So I'll click on copy address, then go to my Jupyter Notebook. Then I will paste the address away. And that's a big copy from you. Let me see again. Let me copy. I copied the address now. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'll move it from desktop. I don't know why desktop is behaving this way. I'll take it to documents. But I'll just keep it inside documents. Let's say I'll keep it inside the files. So I'll dump it here. Even while it is in this location, it's not in the same location as my Jupyter Notebook. If I go back to my this thing and run my code, run again, it gives me the same error that is not found. So let's get back to this place. From data files, I'll copy the address from here, copy address. Then what happened? Then so here's the address where my data set is located right now. Right? This is the address where it's located. So this is what I'm going to do. I just want to copy this one and I don't want to delete it. So I'll change this to a comment line. So this is what I'm going to do. I will take this location, cut, and then paste it inside here. Can you see it? So it has load data is now pd.readcsv. So I've added the location of my data set and the name of my data set. But I still feel that I will still have an error when I run this. Let me just try it and see. Okay, yes, I was expecting this error. So look at the error. It says syntax error, Unicode error. The Unicode escape code dic can't decode bytes in position 34 truncated, blah, 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 blah. The reason why it's showing me this error is because when you're trying to get the location, when you copy the address, it gives you in form of backward slash. So you then have to go and start changing all the slash to forward slash before Python is able to read the location of a data set. You see all those stress involved. So instead of stressing yourself, why don't you just go ahead and put the data set in the same location? So now no error again. It has read in my data set without error. If I run the second cell, you see my data set. Can you see it now? So instead of going through all the stress of changing backward slash or forward slash, changing, copying the location of the data set, why don't you just copy the data set and put it in the same location, or cut it and put it in the same location as where your Jupyter notebook is existing? Please, do you understand what I just explained now, everybody? I'm not seeing reactions, so is it my network or what? Okay, good. So that's it. That is how to get the location of the data set. Meanwhile, I don't want my data set to be in a different location. I'll cut it. I want it to be in the same location, and I'm pasting it here. So this is my data. I've returned my data set back to the location. No problem. So when I run this again, watch what happens now. When I run this again, it's now giving me an error because I have moved the data set from this directory. This time around, I need to just take out all this blah, 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 blah. And it will work just fine now. So it's working just fine now, no more error. Do you see that? Please, you understand? So when you're reading in a CSV file, please ensure that you use read_CSV. If the file is an Excel file, ensure you use read_Excel. If it's a JSON file, use read_JSON. If it's a HTML file, use read_HTML. Please, guys, does that make sense? Ruth, if your hand went off first, let me hear a question.
Yeah, can we bring in Word doc, like a doc? Yeah.
Beautiful
And
question.
number two, the Excel. The Excel, will it be the EXCEL or the Excel whatever?
It can be it can be XLSX, it can be XLX, the XLSX based on the version of the Microsoft Office you have in your computer. So any version of Excel, you have to use the read_Excel. And this is it here. If I call pd.read, you can see we have, let me type the read. You see we have read clipboard. So if something you copied in the clipboard, you can import it using PD. We have read CSV, we have read Excel. Can you see that? We have read Feda, read FWF, read GBQ, read_HDF, read HTML, read JSON, read ORC, read packets, read PICU. So you can even read SPSS. You can read data, you can read table, you can read XML. So, but you cannot read doc. You see, that's not like Word or doc. You can't read in documents, Microsoft Word. Yes, I'm fair.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask if you would help us, because I was working on a data file from HTML from my own end there. So after extracting those tables, the population word table like that. So when I was doing this, it did not just give me scatter. So I've tried to like arrange it. The thing no great. So
Drop the link.
If we're in the class, maybe we can just
drop the link of the HTML directory in the chat.
Okay, sir. Okay. All right.
All right. Are you good? Who is happy so far, so good? Who's happy with Python? I have serious backache. Today I'm stretching my body since. I can see that Itunu is a very good Pythonista. I love the way she thinks about how to solve problems. So that
Stop
is,
whining,
I'm not
but
whining you
I
now.
think I'm getting more interested in Python now.
Let's
That beginning was just kind of like I was new to it, but now I think
don't worry, you pick it. So this data set that I imported here, it is also in my GitHub repository. You can also import data set directly from there using the raw file, the github/content.com. But I don't know when the last I tried importing it using this my code, it was taking a lot of time. I don't know. Let me try again to see if my network is strong enough this time around. Let me try to see if it will work. It was taking a lot of time because it has to send requests and extract the data set from my GitHub repository before it comes in here. That was why I just left as comment and I used the import method. I wanted us to just get it from my GitHub repository. But unfortunately, it was misbehaving. You can see that it's taking time. I have dropped the link to the HTML file.
Try to look for it because it's on that. I was working with it on that assignment you gave to us. That CSV before I delete it. Yes, so I'm trying to check my history. Get that, but I'll drop
I
it.
thought you have it. I thought you've copied the link already and pasted it on your internet or Google Colab.
Yes, I know. I dropped it on my Jupyter notebook on that notebook that you shared with us. Because I was just using it to work, like just trying it. So later, it's not what you asked us to do. So I deleted it.
Okay.
I deleted it and I'm trying to look for it.
All right, guys. So you see that this one has given me error again. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm yet to figure out why this is not, because ordinarily it's supposed to just send requests. You can see the error. It says URL error, or URL open error. That is mean error 10060. A connection attempt failed because the connection party did not properly respond after a period of time, or established connection failed because connected host has failed to respond. So I don't know what's happening with GitHub these days. It's not responding to my request. So let's just go back to this. All right, that's it. Let's wrap up. So okay, this is data set I want us to work with over a few.
I've sent it, sir.
Okay, you've sent it. Where did you send it?
The WhatsApp group. I'll drop it here now.
All right, so I have just sent in our HTML file. Let's try to read the HTML file and see how that works out. So I'll use, let me call it HTML equal to pd.read underscore HTML in brackets, put it in double or single quote. So we are reading the list of countries and dependencies by population from Wikipedia website. Let me read this in as my HTML file. So this is also sending a request. So it has gotten the request. This request came in. You can see that this cell has been activated 62. So when I call HTML and run this HTML cell, you see it comes in form of scattered table, right? Very scattered. So, but all of these things are actually arranged by the time you look at it very well. So the the first thing I want to do is I want to see the different indices of my table. So let me see the first index and what it has. Can you see it? Ayafel?
I'm saying it. I'm with you.
So
okay, it is HTML 0 that will put it in table.
Not HTML 0. This is what you're seeing here. Is a lot of there are multiple records in one. So I want to see the different elements that are in different index or indices or index. Yes. So the first item in the first index is this one. It has unnamed 0. It has the location. It has the population, word population, percentage of word. It has the data. I mean the date. It has the source. This is from official from the United States. Then notes. So we have NAN, and there are 221 rows at 7. So if I want to see, so you can now assign this one to maybe you can call it word population if you like. So let's see if I see HTML of 1. Let's see what is in 1. So in 1, these are just all those sub notes. Can you see what is in 1? And let's see
what I was getting.
Yes, HTML of 2. So HTML of 2 just have this what's it called? Footnote. HTML of 3. Okay, nothing. So it's just 0, 1, 2 that is there. So the first index is where the main information you need, where it's located. So this is what you work with. You can now reassign this thing to like word population. Word underscore population.
Look at it, it's upside down.
It's not upside down. What do you mean upside down?
Okay, this is how the thing will look like normal. If you want to work.
Yes, now this is the title, the location, the word, the population, the percentage of what, the date, and the source. So it's displayed properly.
Okay.
It's me, hand is up.
Yeah, so I didn't get your response to Ayofe when he asked about whether it was 0 that we put it in table. My network was lagging the other time. Like how?
And I
because
said no.
Initially when you ran the stuff, it brought us some really disorganized. So what is the 0, 1, 2, 3 like? Can you explain?
I thought I just explained now. They are. I said this HTML file you see here, right? The HTML file is this is the HTML component. So these things that you see that look like as if it's scattered, they are actually organized in tables.
Okay.
They are organized in tables in. Okay, if you want to see it properly in a DF, let's put it in data frame. PD dot data frame. Let's see how it look like in data frame. Okay. Setting an array element to the sequence. The requested array has an inhomogeneous. Oh, okay. And the detected shape is 3, so it's not well arranged. Before I can put inside a data frame, I have to do some conversion and some cleaning. Well, but because I have worked a lot with HTML files, I already know that most times when you extract from HTML, they come in indexing, like there are different indices. So the first one is index of 0. You begin to look at it one by one. So index of 0 has a table that we want. If you check index of 1 have on that record. You see, this is a title, looks global 0. So it doesn't really. I might not really need this because even this column title, I don't understand what it is. It looks so rough, like some underground text that I might not even understand. I don't need it. Then look at index of 2. Index of 2 has just this like footnote. VET word, Afghanistan, blah, 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 blah. If you take index of 3, it said list index out of range. So it means that it only has 0, 1, 2. And it is only index of 0 that looks like what we want to work with. And that's the reason why I'm just picking index of 0 and I'm leaving out others. So we have assigned index of 0 as word population. Now you can start doing your data cleaning from this table. You clean, you drop some records, then you do some simple basic transformation, and you start doing your data visualization. I can create a chart or a dashboard from this data set that will be updating. So whenever they update the information on Wikipedia, it will update automatically. That is a live dashboard. Then whatever happens on Wikipedia, if the population increases on Wikipedia, the dashboard will be affected. So all you need to do is just to refresh, because this thing that I'm connecting here is live connection. So anything that changes on that Wikipedia page, the change will happen. The change will be affected here on my data set. Does that make sense? All right. Any question? This data is looking very funny. Look at, okay, this is world population. This is China. See India. Now look at New Zealand. Is this for real? This is 161,600. No, this is not possible. What happened? What is happening here? This data set is looking so funny. Are you guys see what I'm seeing too? Or is this one part of New Zealand? New Zealand, even if it's just one region of New Zealand, it's looking so tiny. See Indonesia, look at all these states. Let me look at let me see the first 10 records.
Hey, I guess the thing just only shows the first 5. Like
No,
the head.
no, it shows everything. Look at it, shows the first 5 and the last 5.
Yes.
Look at the last 5. I want to see the first 10. The first 10 still makes sense. Let me look at the last 10. But this record looks so funny. 40
people in the country.
Spain Island, UK, 40. This is really funny. Cocos Kini Island, 593. Vatican City, 764. And this is supposed to be Wikipedia.
Okay, so New Zealand, they are not like, it's not the normal New Zealand we have. All these new Tokila, maybe their country is New Zealand colonized or something. So they are still small countries. I'm thinking maybe that's why we have.
What do you want to say? What do you want to say about this Pitcairn Island? Is it that it's a new region?
Share you hear Pitcairn Island before? Maybe
something one person in Northern Ireland will just born that 40 children.
And look at the source. The source is from, say, official or from the United States. So that's the source. So it means that this data, this thing we're seeing here is supposed to be accurate. This is official.
Also, I'm thinking something. Is it like the population? Is it based on the native people to the country, or just like population, everybody? You get what I'm trying to say?
It has to be population, like as a population. You cannot just count only native people now.
Okay.
So Ayanfe, please do your investigation, do your analysis, and let's understand what is happening in this data set.
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay, guys, that's it. What else are we going to talk about? Okay, assessing data frames. We've talked about this. At least I've mentioned this. We've done practically. You can just go over the video, and by column, you can look at this list of columns. Okay, we are done with this notebook finally. So what we've discussed in this class, I believe when you go through the videos, you will understand it better. It becomes easier for you when you are seeing the videos. It will become easier and to make sense. All right, so that's it. We're going to stop 5 minutes earlier today. Let me go and stretch my back. I've been on call since 2 o'clock. It's not easy. This 2 day, God must bless our hustle. Mr. Ibrahim, hand is up. Let me hear you.
Sir, it's a request for this your notebook to just share it with us, please.
All right, yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.
No qualms. I'm sending it to the WhatsApp this right now before I forget. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Please help us drop this notebook.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. That's what Mr. Ibrahim just asked. I'm dropping it right now.
Gracias.
You're welcome. All right, there are no other questions, no comments, nothing. Thank you guys for joining today's class. We will see you again when next we see tomorrow. Agbára Ọlọ́run. Take care and have a wonderful time. Bye.